All right, welcome back, you guys, and another team preview. Again, my favorite part of our preview session here. We got Robert and Templars, an original owner. The title for him, the Dallas variant, because we'll see that later on. He's got a lot of Cowboys on the roster.
He does, and it's kind of funny because we made fun. I remember a few years ago, and it's probably about 4 or 5 years ago, where he had a lot of Dallas Cowboy players in his team as well. I basically gave him the division just because I sold all my players in like week 7 or 8, and we just made fun of him then. And then he kind of went back to the same strategy. So we'll see how it works out for him this year. Yeah. Last year he went 2-11. He's 40-53. He actually has a worse record than I do, even though he has those 3 divisional titles. I believe it's 3. And then last year he went 1-20 or some shit like that last year.
Yeah, he's last year's Hugh Jackson Award winner, and that's definitely not an award you want to win. And you're right, we can make fun of him all we want winning the Hugh Jackson Award, but he does have those 3 division titles. But since that was early on in the LOC, and let's face it, the competition is picked up here in the LOC, and Robert and Templars is just failing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, looking at his division, if I remember our division correctly, I was Robert, and as you know, I was just selling every year just because I love making trades. US1 was in our division, and there was somebody else that I don't think is no longer in the LOC as well that were in the division, and they were just horrible. They were worse than I was. So yeah, I mean, our division was just trash when it was the East Division, and we're definitely a lot better division than we were, years ago.
100%. You guys are good competitors down south there.
Yes, we are nowadays. Looking at his team, he has Dak Prescott and Burrow. He has NTN, and who cares about anybody else? And then he has those 2 Dallas Cowboys wide receivers, Lamb and Gallup. He has Ruggs. He has Des Fitzpatrick, I believe that's who that is. Noah Fant, Zach Ertz. And he has an okay, IDPs. They're not terrible. They're not great. I have him ranked 14th for IDPs.
Yeah, when I look at the roster, I think CD Lamb is going to be a Pro Bowler or close to. I think he's going to have a heck of a year. I like the fact, though, that Robert did load up on running backs. Remember, running backs get hurt, right? Dalvin Cook goes down, all of a sudden Madison's a starter. Gaskin goes down, all of a sudden Ahmed gets more touches. And I just read a report today that Bruce Arians says that Gio Bernard's going to be a big part of that offense. The thing that scares me with Robert and Templars is Dak and Burrow. I mean, the guys have been fragile so far in their career. Burrow hasn't looked good. Dak hasn't been throwing. And then you look at the linebacking position. Every single linebacker's on the same team, Robert. Like, what can happen when Dallas plays? You might as well just, not even play that week.
Seriously, I mean, I have his quarterbacks ranked 7th. I mean, Dak and Burrow, if they stay healthy, it's a good 1-2 punch. I have his running backs ranked 19th because even Etienne, I'm not even sure that he's going to be the starting running back for most of the season with James Robinson there. I have his wide receivers at 15th just because Lamb and Gallup are on the same damn team and they're your best 2 wide receivers. His tight ends, I have him at 8. I mean, Zach Ertz, as much as people want to give him hell for, no, he's not bad, and Noah Fant's not bad as well. His tight ends are his flex. I have it at 11 just because looking at his other wide receivers, it's basically his wide receivers and maybe Ahmed and Gio Bernard maybe playing for his flex, and his IDP, as I said, I have him at 14th.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty close where I got it. I mean, at least he has Chris Jones and Jalen Hurd to help him through.
Yeah, for sure. And based on all the averages, he's the 4th worst average position of all the positions grades I have.
Right on.
And then looking at his draft grades, you give him a D-. I gave him a D for Dallas, and also going through this again. Yeah, I mean, it's horrible. Just looking at his, he put Parsons at 110. He could take any running back after that. The next IDP went at 3-1. Like the whole was that 30 picks later. Finally, another IDP went. He took Noah Fant at 112. Take anybody else as well, and then he took Trey Lance and sold him where he could have taken an actual player that would have been good to use. And then he took Jalen Smith, like I'm pretty sure it was like 2 rounds after he took somebody else from the Dallas. It's like, and he's like probably not even going to make the damn team.
Yeah, I saw the same things. Parsons at 10 to me was mind-boggling. You talked about the running backs. Jalen Waddle and Darnell Mooney were still there. I mean, you go Micah Parsons, and then you're right, Trey Lance. So here's the thing. Okay, you had this kerfuffle, Robert, but you drafted Trey Lance in the 4th round, man. And you picked up a bum DL, well, not a mediocre DL fantasy-wise, and a bum wide receiver, man. Like, why draft the guy in the 4th round, man? And then the other thing, too, hey, at least your special teams look good with Young Hueku and the Rams defense.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if I were drafting Trey Lance in the 4th round, I would have probably tried to move Dak Prescott because you could have probably got a good quarterback or at least a good running back or a wide receiver. And you still got Joe Burrows and Trey Lance as your 1-2. Which, it might bump you down a few spots, but it's not horrible. And you're probably going to have a good keeper of Trey Lance for next year as well, or even Joe Burrow. I'm pretty sure he kept 2 quarterbacks. That's neither here nor there for the conversation. But, I mean, I just don't get the trade, and I don't get the drafting, besides he's a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Yeah, and, the weird thing is, though, if we know, like, someone's dropping this year, right? Robert wouldn't have dropped last year. It would have been Chris and True North, oddly enough.
Yeah, that's the sad part. Like, and especially going this year, you have those 4 games. Yeah, you have those 4 teams that are battling. So you don't want to be in that loser bowl.
For sure, because that gets scary.
And I know yesterday, whatever hell we were talking about, I gave Deuce Bombers a 3-10 record. I'm actually giving Templars a 4-9, so he's actually has a better record than Deuce Bombers. You're giving Deuce Bombers a 3. You're giving Templars 3-10, but to me, he still has a better record than Deuce Bombers. He has better players, just in general, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, that'll be interesting. I'm sure Ryan and Deuce Bombers will be interested to hear. That'll probably be you predicting them for a dead last finish there in the American, but I have them 3-10. I just don't see any success for Robert. I had a hard time doing a 3-10, to be honest. Oddly enough, one of the teams he'll beat is I'm projecting to be a pretty decent team. The other 2 are going to be against other teams that I think are going to be in that loser bowl with them. So those games can go either way. But I think, Robert, unfortunately, man, you may be a candidate to be our first Dynasty repeat trophy winner and be the Hugh Jackson Award winner yet again this year. I guess we'll have to see your Dynasty preview, but I got you trending in that direction for sure.
Yeah, and the one last point I'll make out, he's actually my 4th worst team. He's not even my 2nd worst team. So I'm looking forward to those previews as well.
Still in the loser bowl, though. Still in the loser bowl.
Still in the loser bowl. That is correct.